Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned. Hello, guys, welcome to Global Happenings today. We have a trending news here for you, and the headline of the news reads: DSS find perfect reasons to slam Sowore despite AGF demanding case transfer. But before we continue with details of the news and further analysis, we'd like to encourage you to please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish videos on YouTube. The move by the DSS, that's Department for State Services, to file fresh allegation against Sowore, who is the convener of Revolution Now protest, whose case is still pending, was what triggered the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, to take over the prosecution of the activists from the agency. Sowore's lawyer, Mr. Femi Falana's son, opened up on Friday that his client was drilled for 4 hours on terrorism-related issues. But sources at the Ministry of Justice confirmed on Friday that the request for a fresh fiat by the DSS to enable it to file fresh charges was turned down by the AGF's office on the grounds that the agency failed to justify such requests. The request by DSS was reviewed at the ministry, and it was found out that there was nothing to justify the issuance of a fresh fiat, especially when the government is still struggling to wriggle itself out of the backlash of the first fiat issued to the agency to prosecute the pending charges. Malami, through a statement by his special assistant on media and publicity relations, Dr. Umar Wandu, said on Friday that a letter dated December 11, 2019 has been sent to the Director General of the DSS, Yusuf Bichi, to promptly forward all case files concerning Sowore to his office. The letter, signed on behalf of the AGF by the Solicitor General of the Federation, Mr. Dayo Agbata, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, was said to be responding to an earlier September 9, 2019 letter by the DGDSS. Agbata, who doubles as the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Justice, was said to have stated in a letter that the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, upon a further review of the case, has directed the immediate takeover of the prosecution of all charges in respect of Omoyele Sowore by the Federal Ministry of Justice, in line with the provision of Section 150, subsection 1 and 174, subsection 1 A to C of the 1999 Constitution as amended. The statement added that the letter requested the director to promptly forward all case files in respect of Omoyele Sowore to the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice. It's noted that the AGF has said the federal government is committed to respecting the sanctity of the rule of law and protecting the virtues of human rights and ensuring speedy dispensation of justice. It added that they need to take over the case. It added that the need to take over the case was part of deliberate effort to probe emerging issues related to the recent imbroglio related to Omoyele Sowore's case and for speedy dispensation of justice. Reacting on Friday, Sowore's defense lawyer Falana urged the AGF to withdraw the charges against his client by filing a nolli prosequi on the grounds of lack of evidence to get defendants convicted. He said the inability of DSS to gather evidence to successfully prosecute the pending charges was what prompted the agency to plan to file terrorism charges against Sowore. He noted that despite the directive by the AGF for DSS to hand over the prosecution of his client, operative of the agency still on Thursday interrogated Sowore for 4 hours, fishing for evidence with which to charge him with terrorism. According to the lawyer, and I quote, the prosecution has refused to make the statement of the prosecution weaknesses available to the defendants as ordered by the trial court because the prosecution team have been advised that Sowore cannot be convicted on the basis of the proof of evidence filed in court by DSS. He stated, and I quote, convinced that the pending case would collapse like a pack of cards, the DSS is currently fishing for evidence to nail Sowore. In spite of the directive of the AGF to hand over the case, the DSS subjected Sowore to a 4-hour interrogation yesterday. The entire interrogation pertains to Sowore's alleged link with the proscribed Boko Haram sect, IPOP, Indigenous People of Biafra, and IMN, Islamic Movement in Nigeria, which he vehemently denied. At Sowore's instance, a member of the legal defense team, Mr. Abubakar Marshall, witnessed the marathon interrogation. The plan is to charge Sowore with terrorism as a follow-up to the unsubstantiated allegations of a presidential media aide. In light of the foregoing, we urge the AGF to file nolle prosequi to end the Massabri dance which has exposed the country to a variable embarrassment. Falana insisted that the AGF takes over of the prosecution of Sowore and his co-defender was not a takeover because it was the AGF who filed the case on September 20, 2019 and farmed it out to Dr. Hassan Liman San. He added, and I quote, but in view of the violent invasion of the court by the armed operatives of the DSS, the AGF has decided to sack external prosecution team and have the case prosecuted by the Department of Public Prosecution. All right, that's the news, and we are going to look at that immediately. All right, my colleague is in the house here, and we're going to be discussing this in a jiffy. But before we go further, don't forget that amidst the issue that they brought up against Sowore, his defense counsel, as Falana, has demanded that the AGF should file what he calls nolle prosequi to end whatever further charges that is about to be brought up against Sowore. But then let's just look at what is this nolle prosequi. It's a Latin expression which means I am unwilling to prosecute. And that power is all entrusted to Attorney General of the Federation and also the Attorney General of the states, respectively, to discontinue prosecution of any criminal act before any court of law, except is a court martial or at any time before judgment is delivered. So that's why he wants him, before he takes over the case, let's get that one settled so that we know that that's not what you're going to be using against our person. But the question is, why would they want to drill him and get him to accept things that were not even part of the case at all? Because it's really amazing where there was nothing like terrorism before now. What he was agitating for was not a division of the country, neither was he looking out for a case of killing or kidnapping or anything like secession. All what he was going out for was, can you give us what you promised Nigerians? We need that change. Nigerians are suffering. Give us a timeline and all of that. But, it's now because of Nigerians crying foul and all of that. So they want to present to the world another thing which will help them, to still keep him under detention. What do you have to say about this?
That makes it, you see why people are shouting that this government needs transparency. How would somebody, brought him up, the first charges he gave to him was a cyber stalking. Really, in Nigeria, we get to hear words like cyber stalking a president, and also treasonable felony that he was trying to upsurge a ruling, the present government. As if that was not enough, despite all your points, despite all your evidences, before the court of law, it became almost null and void because there was no proof per se of what he did. He told me He only exercised his franchise and exercised his human right. And you're calling that cyber stalking, you're calling that treasonable felony. Now you're finding out that that's not holding water because Nigerians are screaming, and the defense council is watching, the world is watching. They now want to now rope treasonable, not even treasonable, they're trying to rope terrorism. I'm wondering, how did we get here with Sowore? How did Sowore automatically become a terrorist? As in, how did he get here? And then sometimes ago, I read through some Bible papers where they said that Sowore is linked with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That severally that he has met with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and for that reason that both of them joined forces. I'm now wondering when, how, where. That you see them taking pictures, just like Buhari, President Buhari seeing Atiku, and they went for a dinner party. Because they are of opposing parties, they should not shake hands and say, how you doing? How is everything? That's on the grounds of friendly atmosphere. Other than that, we move on. Okay, it doesn't mean that he's, joining forces with Boko Haram. They even mentioned Boko Haram. How did he even get here? Have you just seen how the whole thing is playing out? There's no transparency in it. So when you begin to hear that they want to regulate social media, it's still the same foul play. From social media regulation to death by hanging. You begin to wonder, how did we get to the level of free speech, then no more free speech, then the next thing you are hearing is death by hanging if you say anything. What is hate speech? I really thank God that this social media was not even regulated. I don't know what would have been the case for Sowore. Probably by now, Sowore would have been languishing somewhere. And now, all of a sudden, in view of nothing to put on him, they're now putting terrorism. Who did Sowore kill? Who did Sowore order to kill? Where are the Sowore's camp members that are carrying guns and ammunition to kill? How did we get here as a nation? A man who's asking for change, positive change for the country, and every Nigerian is even supporting it. They will say, of course, like Falana will say, Adesina will say, that the voice of a few hundreds of Nigerians should not be seen as noise. It's just noise. Because the real Nigerians, and I ask, what is his yardstick to know that the people who are making noise are few hundreds of Nigerians? Let him go to social media and feel the impact, feel the vibration of Nigerians.
The question is, if it was just few Nigerians that were making the noise, would the likes of senators from United States get involved in this? Other people, they've seen enough such that they say they are putting their beam light on Nigeria and they are watching what is happening, especially in respect to the case. But however, I just want to look at this issue of the AGF taking over the case, and there's a certain statement that they made about it, that there are other issues that they need to handle so that they can be speedy justice, and that drops a lot of trouble in the minds of a lot of Nigerians. Speedy judging. What are they going to prosecute the guy on that? And that is why I feel this guy Falana had to demand that that Nolly prosecute should be presented immediately. Show us that you wouldn't ever consider the new idea of terrorism, so that we know that we are dealing with this case from this point of view. You have to disconnect yourself or discontinue everything that has to do with DSS. Let there be let's go back to the original intent of your arresting this guy, and from there we now kickstart the whole thing. Because I can assure you or tell you the truth that this whole thing is so messy that nobody seems to understand it again. And that's why you see every step taken by the government is kicked against by the people. Why they're kicking against it? It's not because we cannot be controlled, but because the government lacks integrity. Because the people cannot, maybe they believe they have integrity, but the people cannot trust them. Why? They are viable proofs everywhere, verifiable proofs that we cannot just trust these people. So whatever they're going to bring up, there's a lot of fear in the mind of the people about it.
Don't even forget that it's even the AGF that actually started this whole thing. So it's not as if they are trying to do Sowore a favor. this whole putting charges on him all began from there.
Yeah.
So when you begin to say that transfer the file to me, it's not as if they're saying transfer the file to me, so we'll free Sowore.
No.
That's why you're seeing Falana saying, we don't know the tactics you're bringing here,
exactly.
but let's clear this one out.
Exactly.
He's not a terrorist.
That you're not going to get involved with that.
So let's begin to start with what we already know, which already by on grounds, based on what we are seeing, is not going to hold water.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when I hear speedy prosecution, I just pray it's not going to be a kangaroo thing.
All right. Thank you very much. That's where we're going to leave it. Go to our comment section. Let us interact. What do you have to say about the transfer of the case to the Attorney General of the Federation? Do you think that he may possibly adopt the new evidence that have not evidence, the new allegation of involvement of Sowore in terrorism and other serious? Or do you think he may like to use that against him? That's where we are going to leave it. Go to our comment section. Let us know. Don't forget also to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon so that you can get the